So hello and welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to read about the mountain ranges across the world, which is spread across different continents. So basically there are two types of mountains. First is the fold and then is the block mountains. Fold mountains are created because of convergent plate boundaries like this, and the block mountains which are created because of the divergent plate boundaries. So another feature for these divergent plate boundaries are the rift valleys as well as the ravines. So we are now categorizing mountains on the basis of old versus new. So the old mountains are basically the ones which are like whose age is more than 400 million years. So pretty old. Then, so first of all, we're going to see the Alpatians. The Appalachians are found in North America. These are the old fold mountains. This is the Appalachian range. It is basically in United States of America. So this is the Appalachian mountain ranges. Over here, this right here is the Laurentian Plateau, and this is the Labrador area, Labrador Plateau. So Appalachians, which are in North America. Then comes the Aravallis. Aravallis are also old fold mountains, and Aravallis are basically found from Gujarat to Delhi. This is the region where Aravallis are found. Gujarat basically lies in the leeward side. This is why Gujarat and Rajasthan basically lies in the leeward side. This is why these are arid regions, and we find deserts over here. Leeward side, as in this is the place where rainfall happens, and the side which does not receive the rainfall, this is called the leeward side or rain shadow zone. So this is the Aravallis. There are many national parks located over here. So like here is Ariska, then we have Keoladeo. Then moving on to Scandinavian mountains. The Scandinavian mountains are in the northern part of Europe. These are also the fold mountains. So the Scandinavian mountains lies over here in Norway, Sweden. So the coast of Scandinavia is also known for fjords. There was a question in previous years, like I guess it was in 2023 or 2023 mostly, for in UPSC means GS paper 1 for fjords. This is also a phenomenon which we should see. So the phenomenon of fjords are seen in the Scandinavian coast, right over here. Then comes the Ural Fold Mountains. The Ural Fold Mountains basically form the boundary between Asia and Europe. So over here there is Ural River as well. So Ural Mountains are in Russia to northwest part of Kazakhstan. So Russia to northwest Kazakhstan. So this this is the northwest part of Kazakhstan. This is Russia. So these actually form the boundary between two continents, which are Europe and Asia. Then moving on to the block mountains. Block mountains are formed because of faulting. So these were earlier we read about fold mountains. Now we are reading about the block mountains which are caused due to faulting. So this is basically a representation of the block mountains. So over here the upper part is called the horst and the lower part is called the gravel. So this is a representation of Vindhya, Satpura. So Vindhya and Satpura are also block mountains. So in between Vindhya and Satpura, in the gravel between Vindhya and Satpura, there is Narmada river, and after Satpura there is Tapi river, which flows. Like these both are west flowing rivers, and these are in the ravine, like ravines, Chambal ravines. So in the block mountains there is Sierra Nevada. There was a question in Sierra Nevada last year. So Sierra Nevada are basically block mountains from North America. Then there is Sierra Madre. We've seen Sierra Madre in our previous videos. It is from Mexico. It is also in North America. Then comes the Black Forest of Germany and Vosges mountain from France. These have a rift valley. Like there's a rift valley in between both of these. Like these are the in the Horst. One Horst is the Black Forest. The other Horst is Vosges. So in the rift valley there flows the Rhine River. So like this. Yeah. So over the Horst, there one is Black Forest. Here there is Vosges, and here lies the Rhine River. Then there is Tian Shan, which is in Kyrgyzstan and China. These are in Asia. So Tian Shan are also block mountains. Altai, which is in Mongolia, Asia. Then comes Drakensberg. These were formed due to the breakup of the Gondwana. So, due to the continent drift theory, you might have read in geography, because earlier there was just one. There was this Pangaea, and there is a breakup of all of these. Then there was formed the Gondwana land. Then there was the Tekhe Sea, and all sort of that. So, the Drakensberg was formed due to the breakup of the Gondwana plateau, the Gondwana like landmass. The Drakensberg is found in Africa. So this is the Drakensberg. You can see it passes through Lesotho, like Eswatini is over here. So we have read about uh, we've read about the countries in the Western Indian Ocean side, Western Indian Ocean region, WIOR. So this is the country of South Africa. So it was Somalia to South Africa via KTM, Kenya, Tanzania, and this was Mozambique. So over here we have Mozambique, but considering Drakensberg range only, so it passes through the countries of South Africa, Lesotho, and Pretoria. Pretoria is the capital basically. Pretoria is the capital of South Africa, not a country. So it's just two countries basically, South Africa and Pretoria. Let me know this. Let me know if it's clear to you. Anyways, so moving on to the Great Dividing Range. So anything, as I told you earlier, which has a prefix great belongs to Australians. So the Great Dividing Range, the Great Barrier Reef. So over here, this is the Great Dividing Range. It is in Australia. This is the Great Barrier Reef. So it is in the northeastern part of Australia. Moving on to the young fold mountains. So we have read about the old fold mountains, which were Appalachians, Aravallis. Now moving to the young fold mountains. These are basically alpine in nature. So like the vegetation found over there is alpine conical leaves, alpine leaves. So in Asia, these are found around the Pamir Knot, which is also called as the roof of the world. So this is a representation of the Pamir Knot. So there are many ranges which flow through the Pamir Knot. So like these are mountain ranges. So one is the Alai. Alai is like which we read earlier. This is Altai. I wrote Altai. It is Alai. It is like not this one. Altai is Mongolia to China. This is Alai. Then Tian Shan, which goes to China. Kyrgyzstan and China. Then we have Karakoram ranges, which come to India, Pakistan. Basically, then this is the Hindu Kush range. Then the Great Himalayas, which enter India and then go to Nepal. And these are up to our Arunachal Pradesh. So some other mountain ranges are, this is the Shan in China, and these two ranges of Pakistan, which is Kirthar and Suleiman ranges. These are also from the Pamir Knot. So the Pamir Knot is a confluence of Himalayas, Karakoram, Shan, Altintag, Tian Shan, Alai, Hindu Kush, and Kirthar and Suleiman ranges from Pakistan. There is also one more range here, which is Kailash, the Kailash range, which is in Nepal and China. So these are basically the syntaxial bent of the Himalayas, which are in Arkan Yoma and Pegu Yoman. Pegu Yoman is in Myanmar. So we have read about the Pamir Knot. Now is the Armenian Knot. So in the Armenian Knot, there are many mountain ranges, but the most prominent of them is the first is the Taurus, which is in Turkey. Then the Zagros, which is in Iraq and Iran. And we have the Caucasus. It is like not from the Armenian Knot, but it is near to it. So the Caucasus Mountains also form a boundary between Asia and Africa. And the countries near to Caucasus Mountains are GAAZ, like Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. So the Zagros are in Iran, and Taurus are in Turkey. So Zagros also, some part of it can also be seen in Iraq from this map. Let me know in the comments, like, is it mostly in Iran or Iraq? The highest point of Asia is in the Himalayas, which is Mount Everest, which has 8848 kilometers. Sorry, 8848 meters, not kilometers. My bad. 8848 meters, and it is expanding to some bit, like it's increasing. The height is increasing. The highest point of Europe is in the Caucasus Mountains, which is Mount Elbrus. Moving to Europe, the Alpine Mountains or the Alps. These are the tertiary mountains. The highest point is Mont Blanc. So these are the Alps over here. So the highest point is Mont Blanc, and in within the Alps there is Matterhorn, which is a glacial feature, and it is between Switzerland and Italy. Between Switzerland and Italy, there is Matterhorn, which is a glacial feature. So there are other mountain ranges as well, which are Alpines, Balkans. So we have read about the Scandinavian mountains. These were fold. We have read about the Ural mountains. These are also fold mountains. Caucasus we have read. So the Jura mountains. These are in between the French and Swiss border. The Jura mountains are between the French and the Swiss border. So not located over here. Yeah, please have a look at it. Then comes the Balkan mountains. This is the Balkan mountains, and this whole region is called the Balkan Peninsula. Moving on to Africa. Africa houses the Atlas Mountains. These are also young fold mountains. So we are now reading about the young fold mountains. We have read about Asia, Europe. Moving to Africa. So Africa houses Atlas Mountains, which are near Morocco. This is Morocco. So this is the Atlas Mountains. These are formed due to the convergence of Africa and Eurasian plate. So this right over here, this small gap, this is called the Strait of Gibraltar, which basically separates the continents of Europe and Africa. So these Atlas Mountains were formed because of the convergence of the African and the Eurasian plates. So these are in Morocco. Then this over here is Mount Kilimanjaro. It is a freestanding mountain, and it is the highest point of Africa. So it was in news recently because team from Indian Defence Ministry has hoisted the tricolor over here, and it is snow covered all the time. Like in all the seasons, it is snow covered. And this right over here is Mount Kenya. This is exactly at the equator. So right over here, I'm not marked it properly, but somewhere over here, this is Mount Kenya, exactly at the equator. Moving to the mountains and the young fold mountains in North America. We've read about Sierra Nevada, Sierra Madre. These were the fold mountains. So the young mountains, first of them is the Rockies. So the Rocky Mountains, these are in the Cascade Range. So within the Rocky Mountains, there are also the Cascade Ranges. To the south, to the west of it is the Coast Range. So like these are in west to east, arranged west to east. Rocky, then Cascades, then the Coast Range. And this point over here in Alaska, this is called Denali, which is in the Alaska Range. It is also called McKinley. In this, it is the highest point of North America. So this right here, Denali, McKinley is the highest point of North America. Moving to South America. South America houses the Atacama Desert as well as the Andes. So the Andes Mountains, these were formed because of ocean continent convergence. So this is the ocean coast and this is the continent coast. So the continent coast basically submerges over here, and because of this submergence at this point, fold mountains are created, and due to the melting of this part over here, lava erupts and is the formation of island arcs. So Andes are formed because of ocean continent convergence. These are the longest fold mountains on the Earth's surface. So the countries surrounding the Andes, so the countries in which Andes Mountains is located are, first is Venezuela, then Colombia, Ecuador over here, then Peru, Bolivia, Chile, this is Chile, then Argentina. So Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina. The highest point of it is the Aconcagua in Argentina. These are the Andes Mountains, this is the Amazon rainforest, and these are the Pampas. This is like the physical features of South America. So as you could have noticed, Andes don't pass through Brazil, and there are many countries over here as well. Let me know in the comments there's a country whose name starts with B as well. Then Venezuela. Venezuela is the first country to lose all its glaciers due to global warming. It also had the Humboldt Glacier. This was the last melted glacier. So the effects of uh, global warming are the extreme conditions, exacerbating the extreme weather conditions, and because of it, Venezuela has lost all its glaciers, and the last one it lost was the Humboldt Glacier. Moving to Oceania. In Oceania, we have in New Zealand we have the Southern Alps. These are the Southern Alps. So there's also Hauraki, which is also called as the Mount Cook over here. This is one of the peaks in the Southern Alps. It is called the highest point of New Zealand. Mount Wilhelm is the highest peak of Oceania, which is in Papua New Guinea. So the highest peaks of Oceania, the highest peak of Oceania is Mount Wilhelm, which is in Papua New Guinea. So with this, we have come to an end to this video on the mountain ranges. I'll see you guys in the next one where we discuss about the other physical features of the continents. Till then, see ya, bye, and just 36 days left for D-Day. So all the best. Thank you.